Edo Assembly serves Shoaibu impeachment notice. Appeal court affirms Abure as LP chair, fines Apapa 1 million naira. Federal government halts 141 grain trucks amid driver threat of strike following attacks. And on the foreign scene, South Africa urges use of force to break Israeli blockade of Gaza aid. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thanks for joining us. Now, the Edo State House of Assembly on Wednesday served a notice of impeachment to Deputy Governor Philip Shoaibu. Deputy Governor is expected to respond within 7 days. A source in the government disclosed that 22 lawmakers out of the 24 have signed the impeachment notice, making the eventual removal of Shoaibu inevitable. The impeachment notice is the latest in the rift between the state governor Godwin Obaseki and his deputy, who have been at loggerheads since mid-last year when Shoaibu announced his intention to run for the office of the governor of the state. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has set aside the judgment of the Federal Capital Territory High Court, which restrained Julius Abure and 2 others from parading themselves as national officers of the Labour Party. But ruling on an ex parte application on April 5th, 2023, Hamza Muazu, the presiding judge, had restrained Abure, Farouk Ibrahim, Clement Ojukwu and Oluchi Okpara from acting as national officers of Labour Party. The court also dismissed the objection raised by Abure challenging his removal as chairman of the Labour Party. The suit, which was filed by Martins Esekpali Jan and 7 others, accused Abure and others of forging several documents of the FCT High Court to carry out unlawful substitutions in the last elections. The defendants, however, approached the appeal court for redress. Delivering the lead judgment on Wednesday, Justice Haman Barka held that the High Court was wrong to have resumed jurisdiction on the matter. He also awarded 1 million naira in favor of the appellants. A federal high court in Kano has held that Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, PCACC, lacks power to invite or investigate the APC National Chairman Abdullahi Umar Ganduje over alleged bribery. Justice Abdullahi Muhammad Liman delivered the judgment on Tuesday in a fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by Ganduje against the commission. Trust TV's Ahmad Dati filed in this report as presented from our studio.
Ganduje had instituted the case in July 2023, seeking protection of his fundamental rights against possible breach and violation when chairman of the commission Muhi Magaji Rimingado invited him to appear and answer questions bordering on dollar bribery videos. The Kano Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission contended before Justice Liman that it had commenced investigation into the bribery video in 2018 following a petition but could not complete investigations.
No, there was only one application for enforcement of fundamental rights, and that is what has been determined today. That's all. There was just one application for enforcement of fundamental rights, and the whole essence was whether or not the Kano Anti-Corruption Agency has the powers to invite the applicant, which is Dr. Ganduje. And what the court has just said, I'm repeating it for the 3rd time, is that they do not have such powers, especially as it relates to any offense that is created under a federal legislation.
Justice Liman underscored that the commission lacked the authority to summon Ganduje for investigation, asserting that such matters fall under the jurisdiction of federal agencies like the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
That is it is not for us to say, it is for the court, it is for the agencies to determine. What the court will do, as the court has done now, is just to interpret the law as it is. And what the court has done is to interpret that.
The court decided that the first respondent, which the Kano State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission, has no power to investigate this particular case of Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje because it involved federal offense.
On the other side, Ganduje's legal representative Matthew Burka praised the court for interpreting the law accurately, asserting that the judgment vindicated their stance against the Commission's authority to investigate federal matters. Counsel for the Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission Usman Fari expressed dissatisfaction with the delayed judgment, citing the initiation of the case back in July of the previous year. Despite reservations, Fari confirmed plans to appeal the decision on behalf of his client.
Certainly, I consulted my client just now, and they are ready to appeal the judgment to the Court of Appeal. We are going to appeal the judgment.
No costs were awarded to any party involved in the case.
In continuation of measures to address the food inflation and cost of living crisis, the federal government on Tuesday said it has so far intercepted 141 trucks attempting to smuggle grains and other staples to Niger Republic, Chad, Cameroon and the Central African Republic. The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adini, said the service had within 2 weeks arrested about 120 trucks smuggling food items from Nigeria, while the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission stopped 21 food trucks from leaving the country on Tuesday. While the CEG was disclosing the measures being enforced to ensure food security at the House of Representatives in Abuja on Tuesday, truck drivers who have been targets of attacks by hoodlums have threatened to declare a strike if the situation persisted. Several trucks and warehouses, mostly owned by manufacturers and other members of the organized private sector, have come under attack from hoodlums as food inflation and cost of living crisis in the country spiraled. Last week, some youths stole food items from trucks stalking traffic along the Kaduna Road in the Suleja area of Niger State. On Sunday, hoodlums attacked a warehouse belonging to the Agricultural and Rural Development Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, located in the Day area of the capital city, where they looted rice, grains, and other relief items. The miscreants in their numbers also stormed another warehouse in the Idu Industrial Estate, Jabi, Abuja, but were repelled by the troops guarding the facility. Suspected herdsmen on Tuesday afternoon killed no fewer than 10 persons in Azande community in Ukum local government area of Benue North Senatorial Zone. But residents of the area put the figures at 30 or more. Among those killed was a family of 7. Residents identified them as Michael Azande, Ayofa Azande, Tuoise Azande, Terse Azande, Turngo Azande, and Terka Azande. The caretaker chairman of Ukum local government area, Victor Ayoza, said he has directed the Divisional Police of Ukum to deploy more men to the troubled area to prevent further killings. Ukum local government area, which shares boundary with Wukari local government area in Taraba State, has been under attacks from suspected herdsmen. The Benue Police Command said it was yet to be briefed on the attack. Soul and Security, the Katana State Police Command on Tuesday foiled a kidnapping attempt, rescued victims, and recovered one operational motorcycle from suspected bandits in the state. In a statement on Wednesday, the spokesman of the State Police Command, ASP Abubakar Sadiq, said the incident occurred at about 6:30 p.m. after a report was received at the Kankara Police Divisional Headquarters that some suspected armed bandits attacked motorists along Bore Village Road in Kankara local government area. He said upon receipt of the report, a team of operatives stormed the scene, engaged the suspected bandits in a fierce gun duel, and forced them to flee. Sadiq quoted the State Commissioner of Police CP Aliyu Abubakar Musa as commending the officers' outstanding displays of bravery, dedication, and professionalism. Musa said efforts are on top gear to arrest fleeing suspects, advising members of the public to promptly report anybody seen with a bullet wound, as some of the suspects escaped the scene with gunshot injuries. In health matters, experts in sickle cell disease management are advocating increased awareness accessibility and usage of hydroxyurea therapy, a disease-modifying agent with the capacity to improve the health outcomes of people living with sickle cell disease. The advocacy came as Nigeria records the highest prevalence of sickle cell disease, with an estimation of 4.4 million of its population affected. Here's the report.
Cases of sickle cell disease in Nigeria are estimated to affect around 2 to 3% of the Nigerian population, while an estimated 150,000 infants are born with SCD each year in the country. Research findings over the years show that the vast majority of people with SCD in sub-Saharan Africa are not receiving evidence-based healthcare such as newborn screening, health education, prophylaxis for infection, transcranial Doppler screening, hydroxyurea therapy, and blood transfusion when required to stem the tide of suffering and better manage patients.
Only 13% of individuals with sickle cell disease are taking the hydroxyurea. This is something that will reduce the frequency of pain crises, help your hemoglobin, help reduce the infection rate, and can really help people to live healthier lives.
It helps to reduce the complications, the rate of complications, the rate of admissions, the rate of blood transfusions, and it helps to reduce the risk of them having strokes.
Although some sickle cell warriors say they are aware of this management intervention and its effectiveness, they, however, worry about its availability, accessibility, and affordability.
The frequency of you getting sick is lesser, it's minimal, it's not much like when you are not taking it.
But the only problem we have now, or I have now, is the drug not being available. It's not available all the time. For the cost of the drugs is it's too high, and most of us are not able to afford it.
Experts say effective capacity building for healthcare providers on usage and administration of the drug, awareness creation for patients, and its incorporation into the health insurance scheme will bolster increased adoption in Nigeria.
We saw that the first barrier to scaling up was making sure that physicians could provide this, and making sure that physicians were well trained to provide this and felt comfortable providing hydroxyurea. We feel that by addressing healthcare providers, which are the gateway, it will start to scale up the adoption of it, and then it will make it more accessible.
We are doing everything possible to create more awareness for our own brand of Oxyurea, which is a brand of hydroxyurea among doctors, pharmacists, nurses, and other healthcare providers. And through that too, a lot of people or a lot of patients also have access to the products, because the Oxyurea itself is a prescription product. It has to be prescribed by a doctor, and then the patient has to go for it based on prescription from his prescriber.
Sickle cell disease, a genetic blood disorder that affects millions of people worldwide, especially in Nigeria, can be drastically reduced when genotype testing prior to pregnancies are carried out to ensure compatibility. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Still staying with health, but over in Taraba State, the government has confirmed that Lassa fever has killed no fewer than 20 victims in 7 local government areas of the state. Commissioner for Health, Burdia Buma Bancheya, disclosed this while addressing the press in Jalingo, Taraba State capital. Bancheya said the 7 affected local governments are Jalingo, Bali, Ardokola, Karim Lamido, Lao, Gasol, Wukari. According to the commissioner, the state government has put measures in place to avert a further spread of the disease with the administration of antiviral drugs to confirmed cases, as well as supportive care and tracing to identify people who may have been exposed to the virus. He advised health workers to ensure speedy sample transportation for laboratory testing and avoid delaying confirmation of diagnosis, as well as ensure proper sensitization and education on the disease.
It lives with us, actually. It is being carried around and incubated in the rats that lives in the house. So, commonly the disease is spread to human beings when human beings come in contact with household items and food materials that are contaminated by these infected rats. So if we're able to prevent or control rats in our environment, we will definitely do ourselves a lot of good in preventing, the spread of Lassa fever.
This is the news update on Trust TV. Up ahead, 3,000 residents protested against escalating attacks in Katsina. More news when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And this is the news update on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Edo Assembly serves Shoibu impeachment notice. Appeal Court affirms Abure as LP chair, fines Apapa 1 million. Now to more news. The Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, FCTIRS, says it is gearing up to overhaul revenue collection and management to align the process with 21st century technological standards. The service made this known at the launch of an e-portal for seamless service delivery. Habibat Ajayi tells us more.
The e-portal is, among other things, enhance taxpayer satisfaction and facilitate easier tax remittance for FCT residents. By embracing advanced technology and implementing user-friendly platforms like the e-portal, the Commission aims to streamline services and enhance overall efficiency, benefiting both taxpayers and the administration alike.
I am glad to submit that the e-portal exemplifies innovation at its zenith. This platform will help us bridge the gap between tradition and modernity, propelling tax management further into the digital age. Gone are the days of cumbersome paperwork and long waiting times. Instead, we are welcoming a new era where taxpayers can navigate their obligations with ease and efficiency, all at the click of a button from the comfort of their homes or offices.
It enables the administrators, the management, to be able to take informed decisions as the system is equipped with analytical tools. And we hope in the nearest future that the AI tools on the system will be activated. And the second variant is what we call the self-service platform. And this enables taxpayers who want to perform their tax obligation at the comfort of their offices or home, not having to come to our offices, but they can perform their tax operations or obligations at the comfort of their homes with a click of button. You can request, if you don't have tax clearance number, you can request, and then if all the information provided are adequate, within the next 24 hours, it will be approved. On that platform, taxpayers also have the right or the option of filing their returns without necessarily having to come to any of our offices. And when I say filing of return, both individual and corporate can file their return on the self-service.
The initiative, according to the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, marks a significant step towards modernizing tax collection processes and revolutionizing revenue management. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In Katsina State, at least 3,000 residents on Tuesday morning blocked the Maraba Kankara Katsina Road in protest against rising insecurity in the already devastated communities. Now, the protest, which began from the Brudugal and Yarduje communities in Kankara local government area of Katsina State, attracted thousands of people from other neighboring villages who all lamented the increasing onslaught on their villages. Abdullah Yamadi tells us more.
The protesters walked through various communities along Kankara-Katsina Road, accusing government of not doing enough to rescue them from the hands of terrorists. They also suggested possible ways of ending the menace of banditry threatening the already fragile peace in Katsina State. What triggered the protest was the deadly attack on some communities under Burdugau and Ergoje wards, where many residents were burned to death, including a newly married couple. These attacks left behind an unspecified number of unevacuated dead bodies, burnt down houses, and local grain silos, as well as lack of access to the communities for residents. We are protesting because that is the only language the government understands. We have been screaming for help for a long time now, but no one cares to listen. We are going through a series of bandits attacks, killings and abductions almost every day. Some of the affected communities include Gidan Tsuntai, Gidan Boka, Ungwar Kwari, Ungwar Tofazi Naru, Dankumeji, Tafkin Gungume, Sabon Layin Nasaru Burdugau, Santar Dangida, and Ungwar Maikau, among many other villages. Besides the increasing frequency of the attacks by bandits, the protesters are also lamenting the dastardly acts of the proscribed Ensake, whom they alleged are those igniting retaliatory killings and abductions. They are calling on the government to stop them and allow constituted authorities to do the job. However, the Katsina State Deputy Governor Malam Faruk Lawal Jobe, who is an indigene of the area, while addressing the protesters, assured that necessary measures are being put in place to address the menace and urged them to calm down and await government's action within the next few days. I convey messages of hope from the government of Dikorada, which has taken concrete measures to end insecurity. Kindly give us some couple of days and you will see what will happen. All that is necessary to comfort you at your various communities will be done as soon as possible. Thank you for reposing confidence in us. Though the Diko Umaru Radda-led Katsina State government still enjoys the trust and confidence of the majority of residents, the tendency is that it may likely fade away in the nearest future if the escalating insecurity is allowed to continue unabated. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Away from Nigeria, in South Africa's Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, on Tuesday said countries to use force to break Israel's blockade on aid getting into Gaza. Pandor was meeting with her Danish counterpart in Pretoria. The two leaders discussed bilateral ties and Israel's war on Gaza. In a case where South Africa accuses Israel of committing genocide in Gaza, the International Court of Justice issued a series of provisional orders on civilian protection and deliveries of humanitarian assistance, which have been ignored by Tel Aviv. More than 576,000 people in Gaza, a quarter of the population, on the brink of famine, according to the UN. Israel has been accused of targeting aid deliveries in recent days, killing hundreds of desperate Palestinians.
Those powerful armed forces of the world should be instructed by their presidents or prime ministers that they will go to the Rafah border and their soldiers will escort all those trucks into Gaza and the West Bank. And since these are very close friends of Israel, surely they will be allowed safe passage. I can't imagine them being fired upon by the Israeli forces.
We share the opinion that we are facing a humanitarian disaster and a very catastrophic situation in Gaza. So basically, we need to call upon Israel to allow more access. We are exploring the possibility of airdrops, but I share the assessment that will only be, literally drops in the sea, so to speak.
Still staying with South Africa, police have taken in 4 people for questioning over the disappearance of a 6-year-old girl 2 weeks ago. The search for Jocelyn Smith has transfixed the country since she disappeared outside her home in Saldanha Bay near Cape Town. On Monday, 300 naval officers joined rescuers from Cape Town, a dog unit, and drones in desperate search. 2 men and 2 women have been questioned over the disappearance. A child goes missing every 5 hours in South Africa, but most are found. On Saturday, investigators found bloodied clothing in an open field in the area where Jocelyn disappeared on 19th February. Frantic committee members searched sewers and pits in the days following the girl's disappearance. 100,000 rand, equivalent to $5,200, reward has been offered to anyone with information on her whereabouts. She was left in the care of her mother's boyfriend, Joaquin, at police when she went missing. In sports, Alex Iwobi has won Fulham's Premier League Goal of the Month award for February. Iwobi's dramatic winner at the Old Trafford was massively voted for by Fulham fans. His international teammate Bassi scored the curtain raiser for Manchester United in the thrilling contest. Bassi was also nominated for the individual accolade. After receiving a pass from substitute Adama Traore, Iwobi's impeccable touch sent Amad Diallo and Diogo Dalot out of blocking range before giving Andre Onana the eyes and placing an effort inside the near post. The 7-year-old duly garnered 57.2% of the fan vote. Scottish Premiership club Motherwell FC have announced the signing of Nigerian striker Moses ABA. ABA will left Norwegian outfit Alsund in January, penned a contract until 2025. The 26-year-old scored 19 goals in the Norwegian top flight. And with that, we've come to the end of the news at this hour. For more news, documentary and programs, please follow us on all our social media platforms. I am Chiamaka Nwafor, on behalf of the news production team. Thank you so much for joining us.